Good morning. I'm Carolyn Aird, a retired mathematics teacher with 34 years' experience and former Fayette County board member. I'm here to bring to your attention some important foundation blocks of education which have been eliminated. Number one, I've given each of you a proclamation by Abraham Lincoln, which I think is very important. I am sure that all of you can read this, but I'm sorry to say that many of our children in West Virginia cannot. Neither can they write their signature on an official document. Do you know why? Many schools in West Virginia do not think it's important enough to teach cursive writing. If the document is not typed or printed, it may not be read. I do not think this is progress because many historical documents will become obsolete. These documents will be like having a picture without a name attached. It will be useless. Number two, children are no longer taught to read a clock. If it's not digital, they have no idea what time it is. I have a watch, and I don't know if some of you can read because it's a backward running watch, and it makes it easy to get your mind working. The children are not taught how to count money, number three, and make change. Have you ever been to a store where the computer or cash register is not working? The children do not see the need to learn the basic facts because the teachers give them calculators to use in elementary school. The child has no idea if his answer is reasonable because he has not been taught the concepts. When the child takes algebra, he will have much difficulty in factoring without knowing multiplication facts. In English, students do not conjugate verbs or diagram sentences, and many do not learn parts of speech. All these help students to speak and write well. Number five, students are texting to the point that their spelling is becoming horrible and oral communication is becoming obsolete. Number six, when I attended high school, we were encouraged to take all the possible courses we could so we could have many options when we graduated. Today, a child is required at age 13 to decide his life's vocation, and we are limiting his choices. He is having many doors closed to him unless after graduation he wants to start it all over again. I now want to mention some things about consolidation. Before you put your stamp of approval and recommendations for the CEFT, I ask that you check it out yourself because that's part of your responsibility. This week I was told by a Webster County parent that county wants to close Diana Elementary. When they asked about bus times, the superintendent says the times were only recommendations and the county could not need to worry because they could get a waiver. These waivers should not be automatic. The child's health and safety should come first. Have you ever traveled the road between Diana and Webster Springs? The following is a 1973 Reader's Digest short story. Once upon a time, there was a little red schoolhouse with one big room for 27 children. The teacher sat with an American flag on one side of her and a blackboard on the other.
2 minutes remaining.
The children sat in rows facing her, the little ones in front. The young one was 7 and she was very little. The biggest was 16 and he was 6 feet tall. The youngest was smart and she could read with other children. The biggest was dumb and he was strong and could help the teacher carry in wood. In bad weather, he carried the little girl across the puddle in front of the schoolhouse, and sometimes she helped him with his reading. Then one day, the state built a big highway right past the schoolhouse door, and the state education department came in by and said, "Great things are happening in education. There are special teachers for arithmetic, reading, and art and music. If you combine with other schoolhouses, you could have a great big school where your children have all the advantages. And the big yellow buses would carry your children over the new highway right up to the school door." So the parents voted to consolidate, and the little schoolhouse was abandoned. At first, things went well for the big school, and after a while, the State Department of Education said that it wasn't not providing the children with enough meaningful experiences. And some parents complained that the children were not learning to read and write and figure as well as they had in the little red schoolhouse. "We will try something new," said the educators. So they tried the ungraded primer, where fast readers were not slowed down with the slow readers, and where children who had trouble with numbers did not get moved on to the next grade before they could add 3 and 5. This helped, but not enough. We will try something more, the educators said. We will tear down some walls at the new school so the children will be working together in one big room. That way there will be less peer group competition. Finally, an important educator came along, looked at the school and said, "This is good, but it's not good enough. It is too big, and the children are losing their identity. There are not enough interpersonal relationship in the infrastructure. What we really need is a one-room schoolhouse, and since red is a cheerful color, I think we ought to paint it red." Thank you.
That's it for the delegation that signed up. Anybody else have anything? Okay. I'd like to have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to teacher and residence presentation.